Here you go. This will be much briefer than part 1. This is part 2, creating a text file. Okay, let's go to it. Make sure your Photoshop is open and you're doing what I'm doing and not just watching the video. That way you'll be able to do the assignment easily. Here we go. We're going to create a brand new file, File New. Now go ahead and just name this file. Let's see, we're going to create some text, so let's just call it text. Now I'd like you to put the width of it, because on a web page you try to stay within 750 pixels to accommodate different resolutions. Let's put 750 pixels and only 100 in height. And the resolution for a web page is normally 72 because that's a monitor resolution, so that's fine. The color mode is RGB, that's good. But the background contents, this time, we're going to click the down arrow. We're going to make the background transparent in case we desire that we would like our words to just go on the back of a web page and the color of the web page shows through. Here we go. Click transparent and click OK. Now we have here, I'm just going to resize the window. We could also say just view fit on screen. That's the easy way to do it too. First off, we're going to grab our horizontal type tool. The type tool is what the little T is. It looks like text. If you press and hold it, notice you have different options. You can do horizontal, vertical, horizontal type mask, which is cool, and vertical type mask. If you're interested, ask me and I'll show you the horizontal type mask. Now the horizontal type tool was one we're going to choose for today. Now we have to go up to our options bar and notice type tool selected. Please choose some type of font of your choice. Let's see. Maybe we'll go with, I will go with Impact right now. Then I have a 72 point selected. I'll see how that works. In the aliasing, that's the blending of the edges. I have at Crisp. I'll keep it there. Now, maybe I want to have a different color though. I used green with the grapes. So maybe I want to spice it up a little bit, or maybe I just want, I don't know, maybe I want more of a goldish color. Okay, maybe I'll do an OHS and do kind of gold. There we go. And I click on my little wand of gamut warning. It'll give me a gold. And here we go. I just click into the box at the far left. And then all of a sudden I can start to type. And what I'm going to type is Oxford. Oops, just a second. It's giving me an error there. Oxford High School. You could do the same. Now notice that mine is slightly off because the centering icon on my options bar is on. I'm going to left align it, and there we go. I can see the whole thing. But I still want to move this to center it. Notice that this little move button, you can go ahead and grab and move the text to the center of your window here. Okay. Now I have Oxford High School, but I'm not done yet. I'm not even close to being done. You may need to also adjust the size of the font. Now if you need to, you can click either on your T again and select it, and then just make your changes. Or another way to do it, let me click off for a minute. Just click off that. Is I could go over to my layers palette. You remember the layers palette, I know you do. And just double click the T. And that also highlights it as well. So that's another way you can get back to it. Now, let's go ahead and let's learn some other features on our toolbars, such as warping the text. So select your text, Oxford High School, click on warp, and it looks like it's not going to do anything for us, but if you click down for the style, you can see, all right, I want to arch it slightly. Well, that kind of overdoes it, but you can see how you can adjust the arch if you so desired. So I could just have a slight arch on it if I really wanted to. And I could adjust horizontally the arch a little bit. But be very careful. This might be good if you have something that kind of goes downward, you know, in the vertical distortion. Okay, maybe like this. Okay, fine. But I do not want you, whatever you do, to work on the warping so much so that you distort the look of it. So please do not distort the look. I want you to keep the look. just don't put it to the point where people can hardly read the letters. Many people tend to do that. Just say, okay, now I'm going to go ahead and commit my changes, click the check. And now I have my Oxford High School committed. I'm going to move it a little bit since it needs to come down more. And now I have it more centered again in my window. Now we're going to add some layer styles to this. And I'm kind of thinking, well, I may want to make a new layer and a fill as well. Before I add my layer styles, let's see what kind of backgrounds I can come up with. Well, I'm going to create a new layer. I want this layer to be the background, so I'm going to drag it down to the bottom, and I'm going to double click and call it background. Now you already know how to do this, so go ahead and do it. Make a new layer, drag it down to the bottom, and call it background. Now that you're done with that, let's go ahead and let's decide what color you want the background to be. Well, let's see. What you could do is go over to your styles, say, I want to use one of these backgrounds. Let's say I want this blue here. Well, this is pretty cool because this style is so neat. It's going to do like a glass. It's like a button. It's going to do blue glass. So then I go to my paint bucket, and when I click on, I have to have my background layer selected. I click into my window, and voila, I get like this blue button. And notice the blue button, it tells you what it is. These are all style effects. And so you have inner glow, bevel and emboss, color overlay, gradient. Well, I'm going to leave that for now. Or if I wanted to, I could just do a very standard pattern. Let me go back, take the style off, and go back in history till it's just, you changed the word background. Now I'm just going to go up to where it says on my color bar, on my options bar rather, it says fill foreground. Okay, I could say I want to fill the foreground color, but why don't I change the foreground color so you can actually see a color when I fill it? Okay, and I could just simply click the back arrow. I'm on my background layer, and there, okay, I have just a standard color. But let's say I'm still not happy. I may want something that looks like bubbles. I don't know. So I'm going to go back in my layer properties, go back in my history to layer properties. And this time I'm going to go up to my options bar. I still have my paint bucket selected. And I go up to my fill, and instead of foreground, I'm going to choose pattern. Now all these patterns become activated. I click the down arrow. And by the way, there are ways that you can create a pattern and add a pattern, like if you wanted waves or whatever. But for now, let's say I wanted this bubble. I'll get my bubble. And then I'll just click in again. I'm on my background layer. I get my bubbles, but it looks a little weird. It looks kind of like, I really liked my style better. So I'm going to stick with my style. I'm going to say I don't like that as much. I'm going to go back to my style. I'm going to fill it again, and I like that better. Or whatever you would like to do, go ahead and choose it. Now, let's go past that. And let's change this fill layer opacity a little bit. I'm going to collapse the styles. And I'm going to change my fill layer opacity. I don't know. I just want it to be not as quite as prominent. There we go. So I kept it maybe more at about a 90. So go ahead and just play with the opacity a little bit. Remember, it looks different when you actually put it on to, let's say, a website, because you won't see all the checkerboards. Now, there's only, other than saving for the web, we just need one more thing, and that is layer styles on Oxford High School, the text. So click on the text, and this time I want you to go down to this little F, add a layer style. Now notice if you right click, it says layer properties. Well, that's different than layer style. Blending options, well, guess what? If you go into blending options, you open the layer style box. Or conversely, you can just go down to the F or click the down arrow, and it will say show you a number of different styles, or just go again to blending options. Now, within the layer styles box, I want to get Oxford High School to stand out a little bit more. Now, I may want to give it a contour. There we go, because it just gives it that extra oomph. Now, if I want to look at the options for the contour, I have to click into it. Then I can see, okay, these are my options. And notice the standard one is, it can vary depending on what curve you want, for example, for the contour. And, you know, I kind of like that. But let's suppose I also think, you know, it might look pretty good if I did a little bit of an inner shadow. Well, okay, it's on multiply, and it's on black. That's the inner shadow. Maybe I wanted the inner shadow to be kind of a light blue. Let's just find out how that looks. Well, I like that a little bit better, and I just see it appears that the blue is kind of coming forward onto the Oxford High School. But you can play with each of these. There's strokes you can add. I definitely wouldn't suggest the red, but you can do a number of different things just depending on what you're looking for. And I just don't like that one, so I'm going to take off that stroke color and go back to my original. So try to get it right before you click OK, because sometimes it gets stuck on what you chose. And now that you know what a layer style is, you can just play with each of these. Click OK. There I have my graphic. Now I'm ready to save for the web. I do want to save this as a GIF, so File, Save for the web. Remember, not save as, but save for the web. Now here's the problem, is it looks a little pixelated here. Now this is just going to be a small, let's see what happens if we do some different things. If I take off the transparency, notice it's not so pixelated, but it's still a GIF. So go ahead and click off transparency, keep it on the optimized image, still keep it as a GIF, selective with no dither. And if you want it interlaced, that's fine. Just remember it downloads and passes for you. Downloads kind of quicker. People know it's coming. So I'm going to click Save. And can you please save that to your H drive within your Photoshop Web Design folder, within your Photoshop Images folder. And we're just going to call this text. Then save it. It's going to be a GIF. And we are good to go. So now you know what you need to know in order to do the second assignment. Good luck. And for the second assignment, you'll actually be doing a GIF with your name. So enjoy.